You are listening to the Educated Podcast.
Yo, welcome. Educated Apes coming back at you. We are here with RC Chandler? Rory Chandler. You ain't got a middle name, have you?
Nope.
That's
neither's
very
Ross,
old school.
Either or it's a secret.
Aaron Philip Gray.
George.
George? I thought it was Paul. I'm joking. Yeah, myself, Josh. Yeah, we're here to podcast in general, but we brought Rory on because we did an infamous podcast a while back. I didn't quite go back and look because I know we mentioned it on the 100th, but I never went back and found out what it was. Do you remember, Rory?
The number?
Yeah.
Nah, I don't remember, but it was probably my favourite podcast to record back in the day.
Back in the dizzy.
I remember listening to it on the way to Reading.
You sound like a fanboy, like we brought you in for fanboy
Yeah.
qualities.
Oh my god.
And obviously we're talking about the World of Tomorrow podcast that me and Josh recorded some time ago now.
Some time ago, indeed. If I can try and... I'll try and find it whilst we talk. But yeah, we talked about like all... What was it? Like up and coming, what we perceived would happen in the world of technology, what we thought would be, not come to fruition like straight away, more where we would be.
Yeah, we dabbled in like AI and the advancements in that. And where we thought that could maybe go in terms of replacing human jobs and changing society, that kind of thing. Just speculating, really, having a bit of fun. Probably regurgitating ideas we'd heard from other people and hashing and gobbling together between ourselves. But
Aaron's just got it up. If you're looking on the stream, you can see him showing it us. It's episode number 38. We released it on the 10th of April 2016. Wow.
Time ago.
Nearly. It's going to be,
18 months ago.
Yeah, 18 months. I was going to say.
The first line of the bio with batch in price on hiatus.
In
In other news, rain is wet.
Yeah, Batch has ghosted us on this one as well. So, yeah. I would tip a bit of my brew away like as a sort of commemorative, but I don't want to waste it.
Is that worth a sip of your brew?
Aaron's drinking some fucking cancer juice.
This episode of the podcast is brought to you again by
Cancer juice, right.
White Monster.
So,
I've never even seen that before. That looks minging. I don't want to taste it, thank you.
So it's going to start, because there was like a premise I was going to start on, and I don't know, Aaron might be weirded out, but let's cast our minds back to 1840. Not cast our minds in like we were there, but just think about
the
that
year
time.
1840. Right.
What do you think before
Not
1840 was the most sophisticated way of communication? So this is like before like...
Yeah, there's no Morse code in 1840, was there?
No.
Been a telegraph.
No. That's like 1840 sort of picked because that's like... So before Morse code then?
Probably horseback.
Pigeons.
Sent messengers on horseback but yeah, birds.
So the quickest way to get a message across.
Depends on the distance,
Probably
for speed. But
just a general like, say across like the whole of Africa. That's
The
a
whole
hint.
of Africa?
That's a hint, but yeah, maybe like from
jungle drums.
There you go. Drums. Were African drum or African drumming is it was like later sort of, it's been interpreted in a couple of ways and a couple of names for it, but it was more the two tone of a tight skin round lip drum, which is like obviously they get the tone on the outside of the drum and the inside.
Yeah.
Could interpret words over long distances. And
what about smoke signals?
yeah, see, but that you'd have to light this was like not instantaneous, not like getting a tweet.
Sound travels slower than light, so smoke signals will be seen quicker than the sound would travel.
Yeah, but you'd have to like you send the smoke signal and then I'd be like, shit, I've got to go do this. You know what I mean? Whereas if I drum it to you,
they had fires going all the time, don't they? Surely.
Yeah, but you'd be running around like a Benny Hill sketch, getting enough wood together.
plus
and
drums
starting
can
the
travel
fire.
at night and day. I think I'm on drumming. I mean, I'm gonna take out a drumming contract.
I'm with you on drumming.
Yeah, I'm not lighting no fires.
Well, I mean, Josh won't get this reference, but look at the beacons of Gondor. They didn't use
That's
drums.
the first thing I thought about when he was on about the drums over long distances. I went, was it drums or was it fire?
Yeah, it's got to be fire. Beacons on top of
Yeah,
mountains.
theirs was
That's a quick way of getting a warning across.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, true. But
But in the daytime, it would be harder to see. By the time it got to Gondor,
Harder, but
away
you still
from
see
Gondor.
it.
the only thing is that drums had on Morse code as well as they could transfer meaning, or like you know, like if you text someone, you can send it to them and they might think you're being a bit arsey.
Yeah.
Drums had like an interpretation of like feeling in a sense. Maybe not feeling, maybe that's not the right word, but
Tone.
Yeah, no, I get you.
Tone, yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, it sound, transmitting sound over long distances has been used by a number of cultures. Like yodeling was invented for that very reason, to pass messages through the mountains.
Aaron, do your best yodel.
Yeah.
I haven't got the voice for that. It's one of the only things I can't do with my voice.
Yeah, like sounding horns and all sorts of stuff like that. So, like, communicating in general, and before we could even recognise it as communicating, and before it was broken down to something like Morse code, which was maybe the most initial way of sending communications very quickly.
Mm.
And, Morse code, they started at first by having a number for every word in the English dictionary, and then they were going to bring out the guy that invented Morse code. I guess it's someone Morse. I don't know. I can't.
Do you know why he
his
invented
name.
it?
Inspector Morse.
He invented. Go on.
He was an American, and believe he was living in Boston, and he was away, I think, either on business or something in a different town, not too far away, but far enough that a messenger came on a horse to tell him that his wife had fell sick, and by the time he got back to his home, his wife had died, and so he then went about inventing a way of communicating quicker so that wouldn't happen to other people.
Jesus.
Because he said, like, basically, if he'd got that message instantaneously or relatively quicker, he could have started his journey back quicker and made it back to his wife before she died. Like, not to say that he would have saved her, but at least would have seen her before she passed.
So it was just basically varying the on and off of an electrical current.
Yeah.
And they say it's not a binary because there's... Oh, no, it is binary, sorry.
Yeah, it's either on or off.
No, it's not binary because later they had the dot, the dash, and the on. So they had different interpretations between the length of time that the signal wasn't sent. Thus, it wasn't. It was a non-binary.
Yes,
But at first, it was meant to
just
be
on
like
off.
on off. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they had an amount of ons per word.
Mm-hmm.
And they divulged that they had like a 1,000-word card sheet, and then this guy like painstakingly writ them all out, and then realised there's 26 letters, so maybe there's something else I could do with this.
Yeah, that'd be easier.
Then it took them 6 months to realise to promote like the most used letters to the easier interpretations. So like one dash was like one bleep was T. Do you know what I mean? I don't know.
Because it was a commonly used letter.
Yeah, the most commonly used letter. And then scientists, I think, I got on an article about it, but people at university just recently realised that they got it to within 15% of the most the most closest way to the least effort,
efficient.
The most efficient way of doing it for the alphabet. So they were pretty spot on in the way they worked it out.
But again, it was through a bit of trial and error, I suppose. Then they had like a first draft which was every word, and that didn't work. And then they had a second draft which was every letter, which worked, but they then made it optimal.
What really surprised them in it as well was how quickly the human brain could switch from talking to Morse code. Do you know what I mean? They thought it'd be quite hard for codists to pick it up, but all of a sudden you could speak something to one and they'd be sending it straight away.
Yeah, well, you see it. I mean, I know it's films, but you see it where there's like a general or someone saying, "Right, we need to get this message," and the guy's doing it as the guy's talking to him. He's tapping away the keystrokes and passing on that message. Yeah. But then again, I mean, isn't it really just the same nowadays as people typing as like dictation?
Yeah.
You're converting that okay, yeah, you've got every letter on the keyboard, but you're telling your finger exactly where that letter is within fractions of a second. Yeah,
and I'm sure you work and my work and maybe yourself, people that can literally most way type as quick as people can talk. They say typing's the quickest way to get information from the human voice onto like a computer or such. You know what I mean? Like into an interpretation of soft information, downloadable information.
Although I suppose voice recognition software is probably going to start outstripping that soon.
Yeah, but it's not on point yet, I guess.
Yeah, there's mistakes.
Different. The amount of Scousers I've seen trying to use Siri and failing. Fucking hilarious.
But yeah, no, I was just thinking that's not even 200 years ago.
So was it 1840 that Morse code was invented? Is that why you picked 1840?
45 or something.
Right,
like
okay.
41 he started fucking about with it. But before that it was drums. I thought that was amazing. It was like once I thought about it, I was like, oh yeah, that's sort of cool. But before then, I was thinking, what could it be? Do you know what I mean?
So it's like the earliest form of Morse code in effect, isn't it?
Advanced communication, yeah. Even to stuff like they used to send jokes, songs, news,
Send jokes.
all sorts.
I thought you said nudes.
nudes.
Imagine,
Send a drum nude.
imagine getting a fucking celebrity death text joke over drums from the mountains back in the day when you used to get them.
And songs.
Just imagine this African tribe just sitting around and these drums beating, and they all suddenly burst out laughing as there's a punchline. And there being some European there who just got no idea what's going on and why they all suddenly started
They
laughing.
said it was a lot like their language, and a lot of places in Africa, this is mad, went from drums straight to mobile phones. There was no middle, because they didn't obviously have like landlines laid down and all that sort of stuff. So they went from communicating by drum.
Yeah, well, I mean,
between tribe to tribe,
there's a lot
to
of places.
mobiles.
There's a lot of places in like India and stuff where they have no landlines, but everyone's got mobile phones and like broadband.
Yeah,
because they just skipped that technology basically. By the time their country had developed enough to have the wealth to put that infrastructure in, that infrastructure was outdated.
Yeah, mental.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And they get quicker. Their 4G is so advanced in India that they get about what we get on our phone, on our like modems or whatever.
Really?
Yeah, they get,
because they've plowed all their money just into that infrastructure.
They've skipped it.
They don't waste.
landlines.
They don't waste time maintaining and repairing out of date landline infrastructure.
Rerunning
and they don't have
and shit.
all the fucking bullshit that we have with different providers owning different masts and all that crap. They have like one set network.
So you
that's
get signal
funded.
everywhere.
Yeah,
And they use it like more like a utility rather than a product.
yeah. So it's like electricity or water.
Mm.
And that's what makes them advance so quickly as well. Like that, once they've had like this massive boom, do you know what I mean? It's been supported by that. They say when we get 5G, we might as well not bother with landlines and all this sort of fiber optic and all
Got
that
it
bullshit.
in America now, haven't they?
Oh, they're moving. They say they're gonna get it by 2020, don't they?
Right, I'm too stupid. What does it actually mean?
It's just
What's the difference between 3G and 4G? And what's the next step to 5G? What does that actually mean?
I think it's just faster, isn't it?
5G speed.
Able to download larger amounts faster. It's just
Yeah, no, I
like
get
now 3G is a lie. You know, when you say your phone's got 3G,
Yeah,
it might as well you might as well be in the desert. It doesn't fucking work. Like, but back in the Dizzy, when we were actually using 3G, that shit worked, and it was never that slow.
yeah, but don't you think that's probably because they're turning off things that that use 3G? They're turning those products off or putting less resource into them because they're putting it all into 4G now.
Maybe.
I don't want to sit here googling it now because it's going to take forever for us to read up, and I don't want to just I just wondered if either of you
It'll
guys
be-
knew what
I
the
think-
actual advance what are they doing to get the download speeds faster?
I don't know how, because I heard some crazy thing about how quick it was, and I'm because we've got 1 megabyte, haven't we? What is it? 4G, you get about 30 meg, 24 meg, something like that. I swear it was 1 gigabyte.
Oh, yeah, down for that. Yeah, 10 gigs.
Jesus Christ,
Jesus.
that's ridiculous.
Yeah, so download speed 3G is 384 kilobytes, 4G is 100 megabytes, and then 5G is going to be 10 gigabytes per second. Whoa.
So then, what is the point of us all having internet and all that? But why am I about?
It take like 10 seconds to download a podcast.
I guess until 2020, that's theoretical, 1 to 10. And I think it can only travel over like a couple of kilometers at its highest speeds. I think it's 2 kilometers it's restricted to at 10. But there's mass everywhere.
The thing that gets me right is I understand when you hear about people improving like fiber optic cables and things like that to transmit light data quicker.
Yeah.
Okay. So like they did it a few years back where they transferred a terabyte within a second. And that's like, I don't know if they've beat that now, but that at the time, that was the fastest any information had ever been transmitted. And that's through, getting better fiber optic cables and making the light be able to travel faster through the cable over long distances. I can understand that. I can get my head around that technology.
Yeah.
But when they're just firing information through the air, I can't quite get my head around it as to how. Is it just that your phone and your mobile device is being given new pieces of processors so it can download the information faster?
Yeah.
Or is it the information's being sent quicker, or both? I mean, that's what I don't get.
I think it's the wave patterns because it emits microwaves, doesn't it?
Don't know.
3G, 4. I'm pretty sure it.
You're into all this electronics type shit.
I just remember it from college and stuff. It emits microwaves, and there's certain conditions where like your most basic frequency of microwaves, if you imagine it sort of having that kind of pattern, a bit like
just a wave function.
You know, the Wi-Fi thing you get on your phone. It's that shape.
Yeah.
And when it travels through certain spaces, the shape and the density and the length of that wave. So say if it's to go through a valley, then the shape of that changes. You lose information, you get interference, and obviously it leads to you having no connection to it whatsoever. I think there's ways and frequencies of emitting waves that mitigate those situations where I think it's more a case of losing signal and being able to emit the signal faster and in larger amounts without any of those complications. It's something along those lines. Or they might have just cancelled out microwaves altogether, but I'm pretty sure it's got something to do with that.
Right.
Because the most basic form, when you have landlines as signal and radio signal, that's the complication. Like when you go under a bridge on the motorway and you lose your TalkSport.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. And it's avoiding those and being able to transmit it more efficiently.
Well, it's something that I need to look into more, but I just wondered, if either of you knew just exactly what it is they're doing to make it better, make it 5G.
5G is it's just dependent on the mass and the technology. Like the only people have got the technology to link two devices to one phone number. So that's why, like, I don't know, no one else has released the iPhone 3 yet. No, the iPhone 3, the Apple Watch 3.
Right.
It's with LTE in America, and everyone can do it in America. But because with the fucking mass here and the way EE have branched out, only EE can do it. Like 3, no one else is doing it. And that's to have like another identical SIM card in your watch as well as your phone. I only know that because I'm going to buy one because I want to move to the watch. Gonna give it a go.
I don't want a phone anymore.
Gonna give it a go. I'm trying to sharpen up how I use social media. I deleted Facebook today.
Did you?
Made the jump and I've started like taking apps off my phone.
When you say delete your Facebook, you mean just the app or your actual
account?
The
app. Yeah, not
you didn't
the account.
delete your account?
No.
Because that's the step. That's
brave,
I know.
That's brave.
Well, don't tag me in anything on Facebook because I won't see it till later on in the evening.
I'm just all those memes, man.
I don't know. I'd assume, but like in the future, how are we gonna? Do you know what I mean? Like, right, so we have something. Let's jump massively. We're not going to ramp into this. You have something that interacts with you, maybe by as little as maybe a screen on your body, but to a point where maybe it's implanted.
Okay.
Let's just ball this. Yeah. So
like that in time
ball
Justin Timberlake film.
Yeah, maybe, or just some.
Or like the reboot of Total Recall, where it's like his phone's in his hand. It's like cybernetic. It's like built into his skeletal system. You seen that? I know, like he's got like a.
We don't know what's going to happen.
He's got like a display on his forearm, and they do have that. Or I've seen them where you have like a wristband and it like projects. It might be concept. But it projects your phone screen onto your forearm.
Yeah,
and then it's got sensors in. It's like again a concept, but it's got sensors in the wristband, so it can see where you're touching. Then it works as a touch.
And them sensors aren't a lie because you can get them keyboards that you put a little thing out. Shoots
holographic keyboard. Yeah.
So like to have a holographic, like to see where you're tapping on your arm.
Yeah, I mean that concept art has been created because it could physically that technology could happen. Whether it ever will, is another matter.
It's what picks on, isn't it? Because you could say like VR at the moment, and just to segue, it's not really gaining as much traction as they thought it would because it's just so hard to go from having an Xbox to, plowing 1,000 whatever pounds into VR to then, do you know what I mean? Like, it's like I want to be wowed before I make that jump. Like a lot of people changing from Nokia to iPhone. 2008, Nokia was the biggest phone company. I bet, and they were cocky with it. Their adverts, they were the top dog. And
I did used to watch our adverts thinking, God, these guys are too big for their boots here.
Nothing. They thought nothing to topple them. Then all of a sudden, I mean, that little shitty iPhone that everyone's like, oh, you got an iPhone? What's that? And people wanted to start, and then the usability of it just kicked off to even now where they've got like this empire where people won't move away from it, even though they're infinite. We've all got iPhones. Infinite amount behind, like I saw
their technology is so far
it's like, it's got this new screen. Yeah, it's a Samsung screen. It's their technology. It's got like voice recognition. Yeah, we had that 3 years ago.
That's what I mean. Apple, people don't get this, but Apple don't market themselves as a market leader in innovation at all.
No,
they are all about branding.
Yeah,
and marketing. They don't innovate. They buy technologies. They they invest in acquisition rather than research.
Yeah.
I'm sure they do have research and development, don't get me wrong, but they will just buy other people's technologies and then brand it in their own way.
The one interesting thing Apple's done that I was reading up recently, 11.2, their iOS, yeah. Apple Pay may be P2P. So we can, if I've got Apple Pay, so I can put my finger in, and press it to the call it. But if you mention to me, oh, you owe me £5, on the new Apple iOS, you can click that £5. I think they're just trialing it in America at the moment, and I can just put my passcode in, and it'll pop up in your Apple Pay.
That's cool.
That you've got that £5, and if it's off a debit card, there's no fees. Credit card, it's like they take 3% or something like that.
Wow.
That's pretty good. But
yeah,
surely it's not much more advanced than just online banking where you can instantly transfer money between banks.
There's not a foot.
No, it's not. But the thing is, it's so easy to do because we text each other. So if we iMessage each other and you say you owe me and you put the amount, it's going to come up. Like if I put a location, you can go to Google Maps.
Yeah.
It's going to come up straight away like that.
Yeah, there's a lot of faffing about still. A lot of banking. Do you use Bank with NatWest?
No.
Yeah.
They're, especially with me change like now in this instance now I've changed addresses, so for me to transfer I've got to find time to go into the bank, change my fucking phone number, blah blah blah.
Oh, right.
If you've already got that set up in your iTunes, then it just takes another fucking step away, doesn't it? It's more that's what Apple do. It's more convenient to do anything on an Apple phone.
And if they build it in and just keep building it in.
Yeah, to the point where you're not going to need anything else.
This is relatively old news, but it's quite interesting. I don't know if you guys have seen this. Amazon have been trialing this shop in America where you don't use any money. So you've got like an app on your phone which is linked to a bank card or a bank account. And as you walk through the doors, the store recognizes that you've entered the store based on your phone, based on a unique ping that your phone's giving out. Then as you're walking through the shop and you're putting things in your basket, the shop, all the shelves are digitized, and they've all. So if you pick up an item and you're standing next to that item, the shop knows where you are based on your phone, and then as you pick up the item, the shelf realizes the item's gone, so your phone adds it to your basket on the phone, and then if you leave the shop, it then just bills you for what you've taken, and if you put things back, it takes it out your basket.
Wow.
I don't know.
And that's actually physical items in the shop.
Yeah.
As well.
So here's a video of it. So this woman is walking around the shop, and as she's going, her phone is.
It's called Amazon Go. If
in a
you want to
pocket.
Google it.
And she's picking things up, and the shop and her phone knows what she's picked up based on just that particular location that she was at, getting lighter.
Oh, so it's like food and shit and everything.
Yeah, it's everything. It's a
just
supermarket.
show you what you bought.
No more cashiers jobs.
It's amazing. If this could work, it's brilliant.
You can pick it up and put it back. Like it's not. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's really interesting.
Yeah, the no lines thing.
That's the biggest thing. Yeah. Fuck queuing in Tesco, man.
Fuck that one guy that seems to not have a life, so he wants to tell his life story to the cashier. Do you know what I mean? And you're just like, oh my god, mate! Look, we've got places to be.
Well, it's worse when it's a reverse, and you've got the guy at the self checkout who doesn't need to speak to anyone, but always finds an excuse to. Your bag, sir. How's your day?
I typically shop at Aldi, right? For most of my products, I shop at Aldi, just because I think it's decent quality and the price is much better than likes of Sainsbury's or something like that, right?
Yeah.
But have you ever gone into you go into Aldi, right? The checkers, they say hi, they're pleasant enough, but they're not there for customer service. They're there for speed, right? They get you in and out.
And that's
but then you go somewhere,
off.
go somewhere like Morrison's or Sainsbury's, and my days, it infuriates me how slow they go. They want to chat to me. They ask me if I want bagging help. I'm like, no, just fucking fly it through like Aldi. I'm used to speed now. And so, yeah, no lines for me would be amazing.
You're like reaching over, scanning and putting it in your bag, like, come the fuck on,
Yeah.
Deirdre.
I do fancy scanning it for them sometimes.
Yeah, fuck buying loose fruit as well, and they're trying to type it.
If you speak to anyone
And they
at
get the
Aldi,
code wrong.
Yeah.
at Aldi, they're timed on how quick they get through you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy, isn't
But
it?
they're not timed on how many fucking... Because the window's always right next to the checkout, and they're not timed. They're not like... You get bonus points for how many eggs end up on the fucking smeared all over. Fucking flinging this shit off.
Have you not seen the targets on the window?
I turn to my missus and we have like a mini pep talk before we get there. Do you know what I mean? And then we have a halfway down the conveyor belt pep talk, and that's it. It's game time. Let's get the bag spread.
You've not opened the bag. You've not opened the bag. You've took the thing off.
Bags need to be spread. All that stuff.
But yeah, no, people definitely should check out the Amazon Go shop idea on like YouTube and stuff. It's
that is gonna
pretty
end
next level.
Supermarkets.
Yeah,
if they patent that shit, that is gonna end supermarkets.
Well, I mean, the technology can be developed by other people as well. But like, like you said, and they've already got a monopoly. I don't really want to see Amazon. I've just realised I've been paying for Prime because I accidentally pressed the button.
Oh, and didn't cancel your 14-day free trial.
Yeah, my bird did that.
Well, at least they've changed it now. You pay a subscription. You don't have to pay it. It used to be you paid 70 quid for the year.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
But they've changed it. So
I know, and I didn't even see, like, this is the thing. And I was thinking this might lead into, because I didn't want to, like, boggle everyone, well, not boggle, but, like, go on about cryptocurrency. But this is the thing, like, the bank have got their ledger, your account. And I went on there and I was just scrolling through and I was like, yeah, Microsoft don't need that anymore. So I logged on, cancelled my Microsoft subscription because I don't play games online. I haven't for ages, and they've must have made like 60 quid offers or whatever. It's like the gym, innit, when you don't go and people like and they're like, oh yeah, I'm a member. I ain't been for like 2 years, but
and I pay 40 quid a month for the fun of it.
So I just saw a quid from Amazon next month, like a next couple of months down, like quid from Amazon. I was like, what? Where's this? Do you know what I mean? And I have to investigate it. But that's the thing, like, how would you? They say that banking errors and stuff like that happen all the time. How do you know? Do you know what I mean? How do you know? Like, do you keep your own ledger? Do you sit and like, Monster Energy, did that one, so now I should be at this. No. It's a bit different. What's gone on there? Do you know what I mean?
The only thing
I flick through occasionally and just make sure that everything that's going out
seems legit. Have you ever googled like one of the codes and it's like ATM and you're like, oh yeah, shit, I took that like 40 quid out when I was drunk.
The only thing I keep attention to is usually if I ever go to McDonald's, and I have done since this weekend. I've been a few more times, and every time I've ordered exactly the same thing, but the price is always different.
Really? Why is that?
I don't know. I'm going to investigate.
I know it's a bit of a segue. Well, not segue because you brought McDonald's, but I was pissed the other day, right? I went drive-through, ordered 5 chicken selects, got home, there was only 3.
Not even like
sacrilege.
It was a 3 box as well.
Was it 3? Oh, you just didn't notice?
I didn't check the bag. I just,
you know. You got a £5 voucher if you'd brought that up.
So I was tempted to go back, but the food's going to
go
cold.
All the way back there.
Exactly. I couldn't be arsed. I just thought,
they've got you there.
For the sake of a couple of quid, I'll just eat 3 selects rather than 5.
You should have gone back. I got a free Mackey's breakfast based on a fuck up.
When we found out we were pregnant, we went round and told my mum and dad, and then we ended up staying for tea, and we ordered a takeaway, and they didn't bring any chips, and we'd only ordered like 1 portion of chips with this Indian, and everyone else had like rice or whatever. It was for the fussy person in the family, and they were like, do you want us to come all the way back for this 1 portion? And then they were sitting there like, yeah, I want that portion of chips. So they come back and they literally bought a carrier bag full of chips. Like, it's like the size of your head. Like, I was like, God, they're making a point there. But
anyway, before you brought up cryptocurrency, so come on. I'm
Amazon Prime.
I'm a bit of a layman in cryptocurrency. So why don't you educate us?
So cryptocurrency is, so say like there's 10 people. The way I've had it explained to me, which was the most, and I'm going to like completely butcher this, and it was from a podcast called Crypto 101, and it was very interesting the way that this one person, you know what I mean, tried to explain it in layman's terms. It was like you're in a village before fiat currency, which is like your pounds and your whatnot. And there's a guy that sells fish, and I'm going to try and, so I can remember what I'm talking about. Here's the guy that sells fish. And this guy... This guy cuts wood or whatever, and there's only certain times of the year that you can cut wood. So he has a bag of wood, and he swaps him a bag of wood for a bag of fish. And he goes in, and he's like, you know what I mean, there's the trees, there's none to cut down. I ain't got no wood, but I know that like in a couple of months, I'll have like 10 bags. So, I mean, I'll come back and I'll give you 2 bags instead. Fair enough. So, they make that, and he makes an IOU, and they both got this IOU. And he toddles off with his fish, but this guy's not received any wood.
Yeah.
Then there's no way of this guy like crossing out the 2 or smudging it out and writing 1 and coming back and saying, I only said 1 bag, or completely forgetting the IOU note altogether. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So crypto is like, if you went in the shop and said this, and there was 10 people in the shop from the village, and then them 2 both take the note saying the IOU, you know what I mean?
X amount.
2 bags of wood.
Yeah.
And then they give a note to all 10 of them people in the shop saying, you know what I mean, Jeffo's billed 2 bags of wood. Then they all go off about their day, and then there's proof there now, and it's written into the blockchain, which the blockchain is all of Bitcoin's nodes, you know what I mean, keep this ledger. and it's cemented every time a new Bitcoin's made, which is done by mining, and it's like, you know, I mean, I don't even really understand it. I know like a principle, but I couldn't regurgitate it to you. I just trust it, so I put money into it. And then they have all this proof. I mean, the ledger. So if they all come back and, what was he called, Bill or Jeff? Jeff. Jeff has his note, and it now says 1 bag. Then all these other nodes would say 2 bags. Do you know what I mean? And then Jeff would get fined for his node only saying 1 bag. So there's no way he can come back and like cheat it. So if someone hacked into this node and said, you know what I mean, like, I've only got so much amount in my account, and then I come back to try and trade again, and then everyone else is like, no, this one with like, it's a 30-digit long number and letter. That's what everyone's account is, like a 30-digit long number and letter combination. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
And if, do you know what I mean, it was hacked and this one node was compromised, you'd come back and it'd be like, oh, no, this is wrong, so this node gets fined like a certain amount.
So is there no way for a hacker to hack the whole ledger?
85%. 85% of the nodes need to be hacked for it to have some sort of substantial.
Oh, really? Of the entire world's nodes?
Yeah.
For them to get away with it?
Yeah.
Like hide it?
And the fact that it's decentralized is the fact that there are God knows how many. Like,
yeah, so
it's increasing every day.
So you've got a Bitcoin wallet.
Yeah.
So does that mean your phone access or your account access?
No. So I've just got a wallet. The nodes are the miners.
Okay.
So they mine as a proof of purchase. They all like take the ledger and write it up onto the blockchain.
Right.
And they all like at the same time are solving a really complex math equation, which takes up a lot of energy. And they say that if all the Bitcoin mining was a country, it'd be the 5th largest country that uses energy in the world right now. So that's a problem that crypto presents. That it uses a lot of fucking energy.
Yeah. Okay.
But it's more profitable to use that energy and get Bitcoin than it is to not. Do you know what I mean? And so certain parts of the world, they don't mine Bitcoin because energy costs more than what they get back.
Okay.
But yeah, so it takes a lot of energy. But to solve this complex maths equation, and then once they solve it, they get a Bitcoin or like a part of a Bitcoin for solving that, and that cements the ledger. And then from then on, that ledger's like goes back in history, so you can see what happened from day one.
Right. So okay, sorry, I'm just trying to understand this a bit more. So let's say I've got a really powerful computer that can solve this math equation.
Yeah.
I can just print free money.
You can mine Bitcoin, yeah. And
Well, yeah. So I can mine I could have a computer that was mining Bitcoin.
It's now more a processor that's engineered solely to mine Bitcoin. It's called an ASIC, so it's just like I don't know, like a GPU is like a general processing unit. It's like an acronym for like a processing unit that's just solely for mining.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. I don't know what ASIC
is there so is Bitcoin going to be mined forever, or is there a limit on how much can be mined? Because like obviously previously or historically, most currencies were backed up by gold. So the value of gold was based on the fact on how you'd have every country would have a gold reserve, and
an ASIC miner. Sorry, yeah, gold reserve, yeah.
Yeah. So and you'd back up your currency against that gold. So if your country ever needed to, if your currency devalued or whatever, you could tap into your gold reserve and
be like, look, we've got all this gold.
Yeah.
So,
and
yeah,
it also legitimized how much money you were lending out because you were good for it basically, or how much you were borrowing because you were good for it in gold.
So Nixon took America off the gold reserve. I don't know when it happened in the UK.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. So now we don't back our money up to anything, and basically it's just numbers on a page or on a computer, and we just keep printing money, and inflation just makes it.
Like someone's just going printless, like,
pretty much.
But that's just the way it is.
Well, pretty much.
The more I print, the more I get away with pinching.
Banks just loan out money and put and write interest on it, and they just claim that interest, and it's got to be generated from somewhere.
Yeah.
That's just money made up from thin air, right?
They say 90% of the money in the world is just ones and zeros on computers, which you can believe, like with like mortgages and loans. And,
exactly.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is Bitcoin like that? Is Bitcoin going to be created forever and ever and just inflate, or is there a limited amount of it?
So right as we speak now, there's about 16 million Bitcoins in the world.
Right.
21 is the finite amount. They think that about...
What do you mean 21 is the finite amount?
21 million. That's it.
Oh, okay.
That's all they can ever mine,
right.
And then it'll stop.
Okay.
There's different crypto... So there's 900 cryptocurrencies. Well, 1,100 there was the other day. I saw on like a forum that I read. There's new ones coming out every day, and there's going to be more and more. So that's something we can't get away from. But for Bitcoin on its own. And these different ones, some of them are already pre-mined, and there's already like so many million out there, and some are like you have to mine slowly, and there's like a finite amount. The finite amount of Bitcoin is what makes it rise. Do you know what I mean? So they think that they've lost about 1 million Bitcoin already through like dodgy transactions and stuff, and people like losing, like having them on hard drives and then binning the hard drives and stuff like that, because they can't physically get them back.
Right. Okay.
Once they're in this wallet, and then they like say you lost your password for it or whatever, it's gone.
Okay, but because the transaction on the ledger, they know where it is. They must
because they couldn't distinguish whether that's someone's that they're holding or someone's that has gone. Do you know what I mean?
Okay. Could they not put out like a way of? I don't know. I'm just asking. Now.
No, it's gone.
There's no way for them to put out like a thing to all saying, all right, all Bitcoin users, send a Bitcoin today.
No,
otherwise,
no, it just wouldn't work, would it?
I don't know. I'm asking.
It's like pound, like everyone when we changed from old fivers to new fivers, and then there's this like pandemonia that you couldn't spend the old fiver. You know what I mean? Or the old quid as well. Yeah. If you've got any old quids lying about and people are like shaking, in their big like household.
Okay, so right, let's say some rich billionaire just thinks, right, I'm going to really just fuck up with Bitcoin. I'm going to buy 1 million Bitcoin, however much that's worth, I have no idea. And so that's 1/21st or 1/20th of a fifth of all Bitcoin that's ever going to be ever made.
Yeah.
I'm going to put it on a computer and I'm going to burn the computer.
Yeah.
So he could people can just destroy Bitcoin.
Yeah.
With no repercussions.
Well, just the price to go higher. Because
but there's no repercussions. No, but there's no repercussions on them as a person.
No,
because
if
you took £1,000 and burn it in the street, you can be arrested.
Yeah, no, there's nothing. There's
Might
nothing.
Get
I don't think so.
people in Silicon Valley tweeting him, but other than that,
I think you'd be silly to do it. But
no, of course you would be silly.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that you're not silly to do it, but I'm saying it could be done. Like let's say a hacker did get good enough. Let's take Bitcoin as an example, because Bitcoin, sounds pretty secure with an 85% protection rate.
Yeah.
But let's say a lesser protected or a lesser safe or a newer cryptocurrency that's also got a finite amount. Let's say a hacker hacked it, took all of it, or like 90% of the cryptocurrency, and put it on one single computer, and then just destroyed that computer. Does that mean that hackers can just wipe out cryptocurrencies potentially?
Something similar that
they can wipe out a cryptocurrency.
Yeah,
but
not all.
But then it depends. So there's loads of different types of the way this code is written, and I wouldn't be able to explain them all to you.
Mm-hmm.
I just know like the way Bitcoin happens, but other ones have got like proof of purchase, proof of ledger, there's like you'd have to search different ones called like, and some of them have been compromised to the where maybe there might be some dodgy people behind it, where they've used it to like score a load of money and then run off. Because you know what I mean, like you could open up a website like Plexcoin, that one that we were on about a while back, that people are like, it's good. Do you know what I mean? It had good social media presence, but it just went nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
And people had put money into it, and then this person just ran away with all the money.
Really? Is that what happened?
Well, not ran away with all the money, but like if I make 1 million coins and it cost me £20,000 to do all the stuff, do you know what I mean, to put it out there, to set the website up, to produce them and whatnot.
Yeah.
And then you all buy that off me, and I get £1 million invested into it. That £1 million goes somewhere. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't go nowhere. I give you the coins, and then I just like scoot off, or I carry on.
Yeah, that's the weird thing I find with cryptocurrencies. I mean, I get it. I mean, it's just like buying another currency. It's like an exchange. It's just like me exchanging pounds for euros or euros for dollars.
So you have an online exchange. You put in there, I want to buy this much at this much, and then someone will be like, I want to sell this much at this much.
Yeah, no, I get that.
And then they'll satisfy your.
I think my concern is that. What's the protection on a consumer? Is there any protection on a consumer? If I bought a cryptocurrency and the other people just weren't interested in trading that currency,
and it fell in price,
no,
there's nothing to stop it falling. No. So the other day, bad news.
Because like okay, let's look at like the euro. The euro is pretty well protected because so many countries use the euro.
Yeah.
It's unlikely to devalue to a ridiculous level where you like potentially ruin yourself.
No, and that's the gamble that people take when they trade crypto. Okay. I guess.
Also, you said before that there's like 21 million Bitcoin maximum.
At their max when they
when they eventually mine it all, right?
Yeah, 2045 or something like that.
What happens if there's over 21 million users of Bitcoin? Do you only have one Bitcoin each?
Well, if you own a Bitcoin, you'd be a very lucky person because.
But why would you? Because you can't. If there's only one, if there's 21 million people, using,
because it can be broken down to 0.11 of a Bitcoin, which is called one Satoshi.
Okay, so it's not 21. Okay, so 21 million Bitcoin, but there's not 21 million units.
Sorry,
so
maybe I should have been a bit
further.
more clear of that. Yeah. So
Okay.
I only own like 0 point something of a Bitcoin. I don't own a whole Bitcoin.
Sorry. Okay.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah. Okay. I think it's because the word Bitcoin. I'm imagining a coin.
Yeah. So the Bitcoin is one, and then it can be broken down to the 11th degree, and that's called one Satoshi.
Right.
So like, I mean, it's got scalable in that sense.
Yeah.
So like, no one, if there was 21 million people that had Bitcoin, they wouldn't all have one Bitcoin. They'd all be like passing it about.
Yeah, they'd have little bits of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's the point at the moment. Most of them are split up. Like people that have got couple like numbers of Bitcoin are obviously major investors or people that were in earlier.
So I mean, I guess it's fluctuating all the time, but roughly, what's one Bitcoin worth now?
£6,200.
Is that how far it's gone up now?
Really? Okay, for one Bitcoin.
Did you pull out or?
I came out and in and out and in and went in other things and done all sorts of stuff.
But you came out on top.
Yeah, maybe I've gone. Well, I don't know. I haven't worked out my overall percentage because I've got like a Excel sheet, but I think I'm like 300% or something like that on what I've invested.
Not a bad return.
I know, but you have to stay ear to the ground and it's taxing and you've got to learn all this shit. And then for me to try and explain, like I can't even explain jiu-jitsu to you. Do you know what I mean? Like certain wrestling moves. So for me trying to explain this shit, it's like, I know what I want to say, but
dude,
yeah.
And by no means do I think you're an expert and I'm asking you to answer every question.
And I'd say to people
Bitcoin.
that are listening, the Bad Crypto Podcast, Crypto 101, they're two good podcasts. Then if you go online, just go on the BTC Reddit page, go on the Ethereum Reddit page, go on. There's a couple of Facebook groups like
Ethereum wasn't there was I saw a news article on BBC the other day that Ethereum got attacked.
Yeah.
And they got hacked and they lost a lot of their currency.
So Ethereum, which attack was it?
I don't know. I saw in prep for this podcast. I just was like googling cryptocurrencies, and I swear there was some article on BBC about I think it was Ethereum or one of the crypto. I mean, maybe just quickly on BBC Tech and just see what the news article I saw. Just quickly pull up just so we can see which cryptocurrency it was. But you know, I think it's just one of the things like I see this thing like, and it's a headline, obviously.
It'll be that top one,
and it might be sensationalized, but all you see is an attack on this currency. But you know, if I see, you never see a headline that says attack on GBP.
No.
Attack on the pound sterling. You know what? You know you.
But the pound fell recently. You know, with all that Brexit stuff, we've seen like a demise at that point, didn't we?
Yes, but that's because that's a clear. So I can clearly say that
clear reasons.
There's reasons behind people losing confidence in the pound.
Yeah. So stuff like Amazon the other day, they turned around and they employed, and the world found out that they employed like 3 or 4 people within the cryptocurrency like community to advise them on cryptocurrency. Then all of a sudden there was like a big buzz about like either Amazon's going to make their own cryptocurrency or they're going to start accepting major cryptocurrencies or do you know what I mean?
Yeah, so suddenly the confidence in cryptocurrency went through the roof and therefore
prices go crazy.
Yeah.
Another one is what was it? Something happened. An exchange got hacked and they had to like shut down for it, like lock everything down for a day before they whilst they went through the proof of like, you know what I mean, where's all this money gone or has money gone or whatever.
Yeah.
And Bitcoin just goes like, do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
They do like forks, like where there's a community of people that are behind Bitcoin or not behind it, but they like sort of like miners, the majority of miners, if they get them on side, they can like do different things with it, like double its size. It's all like, I don't know, like Bitcoin sign of 1 block is a megabyte and they wanted to change it to 2 megabytes.
Right.
And they also want to do this thing called segregated witness, where say like me and Aaron could swap a load of Bitcoin with being off the blockchain, and then one of us could come back and say, right, we've done this off the blockchain, now write it into the blockchain.
Okay.
And it'd be legit between us because it'd just be like one stream of money, facilitated by another company, and we'd pay them to do it. Do you know what I mean? And then we put it back onto the blockchain after like an amount of time. But there's like a set amount between us. Do you know what I mean? There's no way that if someone hacked into that, there'd still be just us two affected.
Right. So, okay.
So so they were going for like this big fork where these different like things happen, and most of the miners have got to mine, like it'll fork, and most of the miners have got to either mine the yes that things happened or no we're staying with the old coin. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah. So the people that have got Bitcoin wallets, they get both coins, and then the one that's mined the most becomes Bitcoin, and the other one becomes an off you know what I mean? There's been Bitcoin Cash, Bitcoin Gold, and these are different coins that are like the old version or the new version that never got accepted.
But people still can buy them and trade them.
Yeah, they have both of them, and then they get released and people can sell them and stuff
Bitcoin
like that.
Cash is still quite
so
prevalent.
That's what I was going to say. People didn't know which one was the better one. So one started growing, the other one started falling. So Bitcoin started falling, Bitcoin Cash started growing. Then loads of people, I don't know, about $2,000, and Bitcoin came down to like $6,000. Just jumped out of Bitcoin Cash, and it just equaled back out.
Mm-hmm.
So they just like made a profit because everyone got it.
I mean, it's a separate discussion. It's not something that we'll probably discuss on this podcast because it's, you know, we're doing tech.
It's crazy, yeah.
But what I was going to say was that it's something that maybe we could touch on in the future. But the fact that currencies and economics is basically just a belief system.
Yeah.
That if people don't have belief and confidence in the system, it fails.
This is what I'm slowly I never really thought about it. I always just like, you got pounds, euros, dollars, and this sort of type of shit.
None of it means anything. It's all made up pieces of paper, and if we don't believe in that currency and trust in that in the economy, it will fail.
They say like over 30% of gold is paper gold or something like that. So there's not actual. There's just like an IOU this much gold.
That's what I was saying before. That's why I mean that, you know, currencies nowadays aren't backed up to gold reserves because there's not enough gold in the world to back up all the money to.
And the way people used to do it, which is so cool, is, you know, the wax and the stamp.
Yeah.
That stamp used to mean like, yeah, this person's witnessed this deal, and do you know what I mean? Like, if you believe in that person, then this deal's real. But like, if that person has no power, then all of a sudden all these deals mean nothing. So that's why everyone used to, like, you know, give money to the king or like make sure that this person stayed in power, because you had all your assets were traded on their name, on their say so.
Yeah,
crazy. And the fact that when you realize that governments can just print money and they can manipulate, and what happened in this whole thing spawned out of, if you've watched The Big Short on Netflix, the whole banking, you know what I mean, the whole housing market collapsing. And when you look at it in hindsight and you look at what was happening and how false all these mortgages were that they were selling, it's fucking crazy. You can't believe it.
Didn't online gaming have something to do with the trading of crypto as well? Because I remember years ago, wasn't Bitcoin used to trade on RuneScape when that was about? Maybe.
I know that there are defo cryptos that are accepted by different online, like, you know what I mean, like games and stuff like that, because it just makes sense to...
Just to link a couple of things together, before, when you started the podcast, we talked about jungle drums and the fact that people in Africa went straight from drums to mobile phones.
Yeah.
There's a number of countries in Africa where one of the prevalent currencies is mobile phone data. And the users have mobile phone like minutes or whatever on their phone, which they've paid for from the service provider, and they trade each other minutes back and forth as a currency.
That's crazy.
Because it's easier to transfer that over long distances to like family and friends than it is to get cash to them, and it's safer because you've got a mobile phone to connect to a personal SIM card and things like that. So it's safer to back up for them, and it's a crazy thing. And basically, it's become a currency of itself.
Fucking hell.
God, I can't even believe that. That's mental.
Yeah. I don't even get buy minutes in the shop anymore.
But anything could be a currency.
Premier and Edliston Road,
and it's so interesting once you start getting into it, and you wouldn't think it, but economics is just like, it is so interesting to think that we're all in this belief that the pound, and we need the pound to
think back at like school when we were like, you know, like primary school when Pokemon launched. Pokemon was huge, right? How many kids traded Pokemon cards, right?
Yeah.
That's practically currency.
Yeah.
You're trading one card for this many other cards because someone's placed an arbitrary value on that card.
Yeah.
And because the other kids believe that card's worth that much, you get that many cards for it.
Yeah.
It was mental. And you could transfer that card into real hard cash and vice versa. And the price of the card would go up and down depending on how popular it was and the condition of it and all that shit. You know, it's mental. It is crazy. Anything can be traded.
It's the same thing with like cigarettes in school. They were 50 pence a piece.
Or prison.
They were 50, or prison, and they become like, things become currency. I think they got to tick a couple of boxes. I don't know what there's an exact thing, but it's got to be like ease of use, readily available, and proof of like, it's, you know what I mean, like, I'll swap you this stone for that stone. It's got to be something that you can like say, this is a pound, there's a
unit.
Yeah,
yeah,
it's recognized as that thing. Like, this is a cigarette. Because I guess you could make fake cigarettes and be like, but then no one would trade with you because they'd be like, oh, that cunt's got fake cigarettes. Sorry, I just dropped the C word in the middle of this podcast.
For no reason.
He throws a few of those chocolate cigarettes from...
or the candy ones.
Bastard. Just melted.
But people can mess with money, and it's so crazy. And I think moving forward, the only legit thing that can, in my eyes, and why I'm slowly putting my savings, and not all of them, obviously, I'm doing my due diligence, and I'm doing my own research, but I can't see how it can fail unless something happens.
Yeah, so you're hedging some of your money into crypto.
Yeah. And then I'm obviously, like, money, I didn't even realise that you can make money do stuff for you. I was never like, obviously I knew, like, about bonds and stocks and stuff like that, but God, I don't have a Scooby-Doo, and I know you could download apps where you could, like, mimic stocks because you didn't have enough money to buy certain stocks and stuff like that, so you could trade on, like, and you could do, obviously, currencies and stuff, but I didn't know there was, like, a way, like, there was actual ways to put your money into things where, oh yeah, I've earned said amount and now it's this much more because it's been in there, except for, like, ISAs and stuff, which is obviously the bank initially using your money to, you know, bet on things,
loan other people,
and why your money takes so much time, you know, being transferred and stuff like that.
Yeah, because it's in so many places.
Yeah.
One thing, I mean, it's a bit of a segue now, but one thing I wanted to cover today was
Let's segue.
Safety on the internet. Not for necessarily individuals, but companies and just tech safety generally. So I read an interesting article about a bit of a scandal that Android phones have come under in America, right? Particularly Google Android phones. That even with location services turned off, Google track your location through triangulation of cell towers.
That is crazy, isn't it?
So in the article that I saw, in Google's terms of service, it states, when you use Google services, we may collect and process information about your actual location using various technologies, including IP addresses, GPS, and other sensors that may, for example, provide Google with information on nearby devices, Wi-Fi access points, and cell towers. So basically, even when people had opted out of them being tracked, like on Google Maps, for example, they'd turned the location services off, Google was still tracking them, and we're storing that data to see how many, like, users were in that area at a time and things like that, and to track. And so, like, if they,
like, person of interest.
Yeah, but if they're doing that, then what are the implications for, again, like, hacks and you know, governments using that information? And
yeah, so maybe one person might not be of value, but then all of a sudden, if they become of value, then, you know what I mean, that stuff's got to get used, doesn't it?
Let's say that one person might not be of value, but let's say a terrorist gets hands on the information and he can see there's this many people grouped in this small area.
Yeah. This easily to target area where maybe certain things aren't around them or whatever. God.
And the fact that you can't even opt out of it.
No. Yeah, I don't have a choice, yeah.
I think Google are coming under scrutiny, and I think they're probably going to review whether they should change their terms and conditions or make it clearer that people are opting into this in the first place. But, you know, when you go on your phone and you click location services off, you think that's off.
Yeah, you think that's it. That's everything off. You think you're off the radar.
And the fact of the matter is, you're probably not.
Yeah, it's not going to be long till that kind of shit's accepted. Well, not accepted, but we talk about it a few times, don't we? It's all going to go that way. I think the only backlash of it is if they don't secure the safety of it, like you're saying, then it can be used irresponsibly by enemies, blah blah blah. But eventually, we're going to get to a state where if you're a person of interest and someone wants to find you, it's everyone's tapping in of a fucking mobile phone number and they know exactly where you are.
Everyone's location's going to be, you know what I mean, known by everybody, I reckon, at some point. Or maybe not known, but searchable by an amount of people. Well, like, it's going to be on record, even if you don't want it to be on record. And
even if no one's using it, it's there.
Yeah,
and being recorded and being saved, probably.
Yeah, that's why I stopped looking at Brazzers like 4 months ago. I'm getting ready for this turnover.
Well, someone's hit me up with
he's been off the grid since 2008. What's going on?
A forum that I was on, released a load of passwords and accounts for them sort of sites. Well, a friend was on, actually, so if anyone wants to get on them, hit me up.
What's that?
Brazzers and that.
Oh.
To think of that as well, with them knowing where you are, they also have loads of sketchy stuff, and Facebook did it, and loads of people got outraged for like 5 minutes on, like, Do you know what I mean? Because they do. You sort of see this stuff, and you're not gonna like, yeah, that's it. I'm boycotting Facebook, and then someone's like, did you see that meme on Facebook? Shit, come on, let me log back in, because they profile you. Do you know what I mean? And you know what you click on and what you like. They can sort of figure out your age, your sex, your, you know what I mean? These people are into this, and it's obvious. It happens like on, and that information, them selling that information, corporations have been selling that information for years.
Yeah.
Facebook's been saying like, we can give you know what I mean, near exact information on what this age range are like. So what your company needs to, you know what I mean, target these set amount of people.
Yeah, well, it's that thing that if a product is free, you're the product.
Yeah.
That's the thing. And people don't realise that. But if you're using any service that's free, that's because you're not, their service isn't free. You're the product. They're selling you to other people, to other companies, whoever it may be. And yeah, people don't. I mean,
there's a trade-off.
Some people don't care about that cost. They don't see that as a they don't see that as a bad trade-off. They see that as perfectly fine and, you know, reasonable, which it is for me. And I don't particularly care.
I don't think it is a bad trade-off.
I don't particularly care if Facebook, you know, have targeted apps and adverts and things like that.
They're probably accurate, so they're showing you stuff that you will most likely want to see and potentially buy. So
yeah,
it's like
no, I know it makes sense.
It's no lose really.
No, I'm not saying that I'm like particularly upset about it. I just think it's mental that we don't read short. The
only lose that I can see immediately, and I'm sure there's more, but one lose I can see is that by profiling people in any arbitrary way, they will limit the information you see based on what they think you want to see.
Yeah.
And so it closes you off from new ideas, because they won't expose you to ideas that aren't in tandem with other people that are like you. So you, for example, you might not see. Okay, I don't have any Muslim friends, so I don't know what their Facebook adverts and posts and recommended videos on YouTube are like compared to mine.
Yeah.
But for example, I might not see any videos on the promotion of and the benefits of Islam, where you know, compared to all the horrible Nazi shit that I actually see.
No, they're gonna keep. They're gonna keep you in your lane. Yeah. And if that's Nazi horrible shit, then you're staying in that lane unless you click on something else.
Unless you go out
and then they'll supplement that in.
Find a way to branch out. They are gonna keep you in your little peg, in your little hole, because that's what they can sell you.
Yeah.
Another piece of kind of tech safety that I've looked at is what do you think about websites that monitor your keystrokes?
Keystrokes.
So whenever you're on a website, let's say some websites, some universities are researching this. I think over 248 websites that they researched did this. So as you're on, say, Facebook or Google now, potentially they could be recording every keystroke you make. Every time you press the keyboard, they can be recording what you've done.
Even if I'm not on their website initially now, or is it just if I've got them open? Or
if you go on a certain website, they might have technology that's recording what you're writing. And now, you might not think that's particularly a big issue, but let's say you're on a website that's maybe let's say you're on a shop, website that's got a store that's not particularly a reputable shop, right? And not a reputable website, and that they are recording your keystrokes, and you put in things like bank details.
Yeah.
They record your bank details, and then that could be sold to third parties.
Yeah.
And then you can get hacked and have identity theft, or you could be, you know, robbed from.
Even not that, even the fact that they're keeping them and someone can hack them to take it, like
exactly.
Passwords. You know what I mean? Like at first I used to use the same password on everything, and now, and it might not even be safer, but now I have varying passwords and I keep notes, and they're physical notes that
They actually say it is safer to have very complex passwords and keep it handwritten somewhere or written down in your house, than it is to have a simple password online, because there's less chance of you being robbed and someone getting that password from your house and going to use it than there is of someone hacking you online.
Yeah, no, I know. It's mental. Passwords is one thing as well.
Did you guys not know about this keystroke?
No, you're fucking scaring me, bro. I've been ordering fucking Domino's, Pizza Hut, typing my bank details in on the reg.
Yeah.
On the reg.
Well, the thing is, most websites won't be doing it.
No, but they won't. Yeah.
Why would any website have a need to do that?
Because they just want to collect information.
Because
they
might not be doing it for nefarious reasons. They might just be doing it to see what kind of things you're looking at. Like, what kind of things do you type? It's not even about keystrokes all the time. It's maybe It's like how long you scroll down the page. What bit? How much time do you spend looking at a certain advert, or do you scroll past the advert? And then they manipulate the way that the adverts come up, so you spend longer on them.
Yeah.
So they're not recording necessarily how much you touch the keyboard, but also how much you scroll your mouse, how much you click, where you click. You know, if you click off the website, how quick do you come back? They're recording everything, and it's like I say, it's not always, and it probably rarely is for nefarious means. But it can be used for those means.
It'd be interesting
if that information gets out there.
Sorry, it'd be interesting. Like if on our website, if we figured out that more people click on podcasts that have got like your face in the photo, or more people click on podcasts that are videoed or not videoed, or do you know what I mean? And then you're like, oh, I'll start doing more of them. It's not, you know what I mean? I don't want to. But if I could see like how often people scroll our site or go on different things, or see like, oh, loads of people are clicking on the blog and then they're only reading the minuscule amount of blog things we've got, I'd be like, we need to start writing some more. Do you know what I mean? It's just information. People want that information, and then third parties will pay pretty penny for that information, and then, you know what I mean? Like they sold loads of, like, they sell websites all the time. Do you know what I mean? They just sell like. Was it MySpace, stuff like that? They just get sold. You know what I mean? All that and then they're like, oh, we might not be able to make money off this initial website, but gee, all that information would be good to get a hold of. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
At least I know YouTube aren't doing that, because if they're monitoring behaviour like that and you're constantly clicking skip ad, by now I'd have stopped having the advert. Trading 212.
No, because
fuck off.
YouTube don't have to pay any dividends out until you watch a whole advert. And then the person that owns that YouTube channel won't get a dividend until you watch either the long ones a set amount of time of it, like past the skip ad thing, or there's certain like parameters around it. So you can click skip ad all you want, and they'll keep putting them up in front of you.
Do you ever get it
until you watch one?
I'm at war.
Do you ever get it on YouTube with the surveys?
Yeah.
And you have to wait a certain amount of time, and it comes up with skip survey. Or you can answer it.
Yeah.
You ever answer it, or you can skip if you wait long enough.
They're mining you for information.
That's the same as an ad.
But I always click like not interested.
But that's information still.
That's still information, yeah. A soiled vote is still a vote.
Fuck off button.
A soiled vote is still a vote. I've been experiencing this on my TV, because you can get skip ads, but then all of a sudden you're watching something that you don't want to watch. You're like, yeah, it is an advert. Like, initially the adverts between Corrie and that were, but you just watch, do you know what I mean? Like, it's just, and random YouTube channels can put it. So just watching a guy like dance around his living room singing or something.
And the advert comes on in the middle of it.
No. That's the advert. Like, these guys have put these up as adverts.
It's that weird fucking,
like, random shit.
It's like a wannabe Periscope app that keeps doing that.
And it's up on my TV, and I'm just sitting there, like, someone walks in the room, they think, like, what the fuck's he watching? Do you know what I mean? So I'm just trying to watch like MMA news or something, and it's like just some guy dancing about.
They're like 5-minute long adverts as well, some of them.
Yeah.
Some fucking long ones.
Yeah.
Who's watching that?
I know.
But the interesting thing I like is that nowadays, especially with online banking and things, like you have websites and apps, things like Patreon. Have you heard of that?
Yeah.
So where
we could start a Patreon if we wanted to.
Yeah, and people,
like
people could donate to you to help support,
all sorts of stuff like that. Yeah.
So I watch a couple of YouTubers, and one of them, he purposely says in all of his videos, I don't have ads on my videos. Because I don't want you guys to have to sit and watch shitty ads that even I wouldn't watch. So that's what he says, right?
Yeah.
And so what he says is, if you want to support me in my channel, I sell books on Amazon, I do this, I do that. You can be a patron for me, make donations, and people do it. And he makes probably decent enough money to keep his YouTube channel alive and buy new equipment and new cameras and things.
Is this the guy that got infamously sacked?
No.
No, there's people that do, like...
No, this guy, he's not like a well-known YouTuber. Most people won't know him. He's probably got 100,000 subscribers. Good.
Yeah, once you get to that level, they ask you, do you want ads on your YouTube? And you can say yes, or you either opt in or opt out.
Yeah.
And they'll say, and they also ask you, are you advertising things on your, like, are you like now if we're like, ta-da, like this mug, fuck off, this mug, do you know what I mean? You want to buy this mug? We got to like declare if we were
making revenue off.
Yeah, if we were receiving dividends as well, they'd sort of like levy it because you were advertising your own shit.
Yeah.
It's a minefield, and everything. People's like, right, eye time and finger time and information on you, it's all got a price. Do you know what I mean? And it slowly builds, and it is.
I feel used.
Do you think that your iPhone is watching where your eyes are looking?
Yeah,
depending on what app you're using.
It could do.
Could be.
I mean, it's not too much of a leap from monitoring keystrokes and scroll speed to monitoring where your eyes looking at the screen.
Snapchat knows that your eyebrows are raising. There's every chance it knows when you're
or your mouth's opening.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes it tells you to open your mouth. I mean, it's like a lemon.
People in like the CIA and stuff have said things like that you should cover like the camera on your laptop.
I know so many people that do that, and I know that he's one of them. And to be fair, anyone, have you watched the series Person of Interest?
No.
Anyone who watches that, or what's the one that you watched again?
No, that Black Mirror thing,
that you showed
or
me,
Snowden, or anything like that.
Changed my fucking life. I've only seen one episode of Black Mirror, and it changed my fucking life.
There's one where the guy was jerking off, and
that's a good one.
Yeah.
What? It's a good episode.
Yeah, that's a good one.
No, all Black Mirror blows your fucking head, and you're like, shit, if that was real. There's a great film actually, similar to Black Mirror in its style, called The Circle.
Yeah.
And that's really interesting. That's about like a technology company, and it's kind of, I think it's almost like poking fingers at like the likes of Google and Amazon and these companies that are becoming so big they're kind of their own kind of country in terms of the money they're pulling in, the information they're pulling in.
That's crazy. If you look at an infogram about who owns parts of the internet. Have you seen that infogram? And it's like the big giants like Facebook, and you know what I mean. Like these are the people that own the internet. They're not. These are where we're going, you know what I mean, where we get our information from, and we vote with what we use and what's easy to use for us.
Well, actually, that's quite nice. You brought up like the ownership of the internet, right? So, do you guys know about net neutrality?
Yes. This was one thing that I saw, a guy called Nick, he sometimes listens, he posted an article on it today, and I was reading it, and I was like, God, this you know what I mean? It sort of like links with what we were going to talk about.
Yeah.
But yeah, go.
So, Az, do you know what net neutrality is?
I do not.
Okay. So, net neutrality is a belief that the internet should be a utility to be used by all equally. It should not be a product that is sold to the highest bidder. So, people who kind of support net neutrality want just like gas, electric, water, those kind of things, that no matter how much you pay, you get the same product, you get the same thing, right? Whereas people who are against net neutrality, they want it so they can sell certain bandwidth and speed for X amount, and they can sell a higher speed for this and a higher speed for that. Now, this is coming under critique currently because the head of the FCC in America has recently come public to say that he is going to be taking measures later this year in December in America to reverse some of the progress that Obama made during his office to promote net neutrality. And so there's a lot of a Twitter storm going on right now with Americans trying to stop the FCC from doing what they're doing, because if they reverse net neutrality...
all I can think of now, the FCC won't let me be. I was hoping that that line would be relevant, and now it is. Please carry on.
And so yeah, so basically the people are worried that if we get to a point where net neutrality isn't a thing, people who control the internet and control the service of the internet will treat it as a product, and they will price it so that the more you can pay, the more information you can get from the internet in terms of speed or actually the information you're receiving. So it's
like Sky.
So
turn it into basically like
Sky.
So
you could pay the lowest denomination and receive, say, just
Free
text
view.
messages, or you could pay a higher one and you could get images as well as text messages, or you could pay a higher one again and get videos, right? So let's say that's how it becomes. What would happen eventually, this is the fear, is that the people with the most money would also have the most information, and the people who don't have money would have less information and therefore less means of getting money, because they wouldn't be able to educate themselves as well as those who have money. So the haves become even more powerful, and the have-nots have less. So net neutrality is about protecting that and protecting people's rights to access to information. Now, in Europe, the European Union has net neutrality laws. However, some European countries opt out of them, and Portugal is one of them, and Portugal has loopholes through the European EU net neutrality laws, and some companies, one of them was an internet provider on mobile phone devices, did just what I just said. So they had a limited package that just let you send SMS messages. The next one let you actually have internet access, and then there's a higher one still, which is like the most expensive. And they product it up. They split even though it's just one service, they portion it up as a product.
See, is there not a version of that anyway with like, say if you subscribe to BT to get your internet, to get your broadband, you can pay for certain levels, you have the highest speed.
Yeah, but I think that's more due to the infrastructure that's in your area and things like that. You can't, like, you can choose to pay for fibre optic, or you can choose not to. But the actual internet information, although the speed might be quicker, is the same.
Right,
you're allowed everywhere.
You still get it.
It doesn't limit what websites you go on. It doesn't stop you getting videos. It doesn't stop you getting images.
Right, so that's what they're trying to.
So net neutrality, without it, companies could just only let you get text, like text information, and could limit you getting images. And then if you paid more, they could say, right, okay, now we'll let you have images. And then if you paid even more, they could, right, now you can have videos. And if you pay the full highest thing, you can have anything you like on the internet. So that's what that's what net neutrality is trying to stop, and trying to protect people's rights to that information.
It's crazy, isn't it?
And the current people in power in the States are trying to, the FCC.
So the FCC,
they're not letting people be. That's it.
Let me be me.
The head of the FCC currently wants to reverse some of the laws that Obama put in place, saying that the things he did, that administration put in, has slowed and hindered corporations. Basically, corporations, big corporations, would be able to, without net neutrality, would be able to pay service providers for the fastest speed. They would be able to just throw money at it and get ridiculous speed and ridiculous information coming through. But at the minute, net neutrality stops them doing that. No matter what they pay,
they can't pick.
They can't get better service than a normal user.
Right.
The only way they could is with better infrastructure to like processors and things like that. But the actual information, the actual data is coming through the same to it as it would to you.
Yeah.
But without it, so basically, it's people in people's pockets somewhere, most likely. Like this guy in the FCC is most likely getting a backhander somewhere along the line. We want this information and we don't want anyone else to have it.
Yeah.
Or we want a limited
amount.
We'll
pay you a set amount.
We'll pay you so many $1 million a year to have the fastest internet and the best information, and we want you to restrict it to other people. It'd be like, me, I don't know, a company in the UK saying, right, First Utility, we want you to send all the water to us. We're going to pay you £300 million a year to send all the water to us. Fuck everyone else. We'll pay you more.
Yeah.
Right.
And if we didn't have water as a utility, that could happen, and then there'd be people around the country, dying of thirst. It's okay. Not having access to the internet isn't going to kill you necessarily, but it can severely hinder your progress. And why should you be hindered in that way just because a company can pay more than you?
It's mental, isn't it?
It's
like it's just a utility. Like I see the internet as a utility. I see it as a tool. I see it as something that is created for everyone and a platform for the world to strive on. But then governments can come to it, and I think this will only just push like dark web and other places where people will go, and there'll just be other alternate internets. Do you know what I mean? Where like people will be like, yeah, you can buy this internet instead, which is completely neutral, and then people are going to move away from it. You might just get the internet 0.2 or something.
My biggest concern though is the fact that, like, as you'd never even heard the term net neutrality, you didn't even know this was an issue, and I don't think many people do.
And why are some people not pushing this news, and some like, is it being hidden? And it's all that, get the tinfoil hats out type thing.
Yeah.
Because the man is not letting us know about net neutrality, and all of a sudden it'll be under the rug. Before we know it, we're paying for certain. We've got like a Sky subscription for our internet.
The kind of ironic thing is that the best and the quickest way that people's awareness of net neutrality is being raised is through the internet. Yeah. And if net neutrality ceases, we'll stop being able to push that agenda and protect ourselves.
And it won't become a neutral. Yeah, it won't be a neutral. Like with the irony of it, it won't be a neutral place. We're not gonna. It's crazy that these things can be attacked by governments and stuff like that. They can actually, Portugal can say, yeah, we're going to do this because we'll get more money.
Yeah, they have certain loopholes that they can avoid the EU legislation.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why. Probably because all drugs are legal there.
I just think, I don't know. One person got one backhander or a set amount of people, and it just seems to be more.
It's always people in people's pockets.
When is it? Yeah,
that's where the tin.
This is another thing that we don't. This is another thing that we get enraged about for like 5 minutes, and then do you know what I mean? Like I use Amazon all the time, but I know they dodge so much tax, but it's not going to stop me getting some. You know what I mean? That bike delivered next day, or this thing for the podcast get delivered next day. I can go to a locker around the corner in the shop, type in a code, and there's my parcel. Do you know what I mean? It's easy, and it's just that is not going to put me off using Amazon. But I'm upset that they didn't pay all their tax. I still Google shit. I'm upset they didn't pay all their tax. Do you know what I mean?
I think it's because you feel like as a single consumer you're not going to be enough.
Yeah,
and the number of consumers that use those services, the chances are it's never going to stop. So you rely on the likes of government to do things about it.
Yeah, you trust the government.
But there's too many governments offering too many packages, and all it takes is for the likes of Amazon or someone to set up in, Ireland where the tax law is different to the UK, or I think if you look on most of Amazon emails and invoices, they're registered over in Scandinavia.
Yeah.
Because they're probably getting benefits over there.
Yeah.
So although they're trading in the UK, they're registered over in Scandinavia. Things like that.
It's like the Queen. She did it to her. Yeah. She did the dirty. Philip, where's my self-declaration?
Philip, we've got a letter from the HMRC. Oh, fuck.
But then the people were saying that she pays someone, and someone's like, "Yeah, must I be better if we did it this way?" And
she will. She likely has no idea where her money is now.
Yeah.
She's just got an advisor who is just doing the best in his eyes.
We all know that self-employed people. You know what I mean? They scam the system.
The problem is
just the way it is.
I don't know any of that.
The problem is we can't rely on morality to control people's behaviour, because at the end of the day, people are greedy and capitalistic, and if they can see an advantage to make more money, they will take it. Mm-hmm. And if it's legal, they will definitely take it. If it's illegal, some people's morality will get the better of them and they won't do it. But if there's legal loopholes to allow them to do these things, like people are kicking off about the Queen and about all these celebrities dodging tax, and it makes you sick because they've already got so much money. Why do they need to dodge tax? But it's legal. Yeah. That's the thing people forget. It is legal, and you're relying on people's moralities to stop them from doing it.
Where do you draw the line though? Because allegedly, I can set up a limited company and do exactly the same job as I was before and pay far less tax. Allegedly, so. Yeah,
and people are doing it. People you know are doing it.
There isn't a line to be drawn if it's
the
legal.
law. Yeah, we entrust that I pay this amount of tax because I work for a company, and I entrust that everyone else is getting taxed along the same lines. And
if the law is failing that's the law's problem. It's nothing to do with people drawing personal lines in the sand.
You get upset about it, but there's not really much you can do about it unless you vote, and you know what I mean. But then people sit there and think that voting doesn't make a difference either. So, I mean, where do we begin? What do we do? We can't change the world, Aaron.
I don't.
Everyone needs to be educated, like that net neutrality. You forgot about it now. You're off thinking, what's the next thing you're
I'm thinking Josh is judging me because I pay less tax. Sit there saying you saying it makes you sick. You saying I get upset about it. I Google shit and I'm like, leave it alone.
But that's the thing, isn't it? And I'm not mad at you, but I might be mad at someone else.
See, that's the thing. It doesn't make me. Doesn't make me sick at the people who abuse the system, because it's
the system's there to be abused.
The people who write the system, the governments who allow that to be done, they're the ones who need to sort it out.
Yeah.
But they're using it themselves.
At work, we have a free coffee machine.
And that's the problem. Is the likes of, we found out when David Cameron was still in power that his family had money hidden away in the when the Panama Papers came out.
Yeah,
the Camerons had money out there, and he's fucking running the country at the time. His family taking advantage of these things. Why is he going to stop it?
No, I know. Yeah. This is what you're saying. Backhanders. They're everywhere. They're on the lowest. They're on the like
I've seen
people you bump into.
The very bottom.
Yeah. So what is it going to be like at the top?
Yeah. How could it not be happening at the very top?
It's crazy. But so innovation will never move forward. But people are greedy. We are until we have AI. Let's get onto it. Until we have quickly, because I've got shit to do. But until we have AI deciding for us what's right and wrong, we're not gonna. Do you know what I mean?
That's a scary. I'm gonna have a quick piss on that note.
Until we have AI and big AI computers that we can put in like multiple entrances and outcomes, and they can, think what's the most logical thing to do, and enforce that, and whether that'll ever come into power, because people will be shit scared of AI anyway. We're never going to be able to make like complete, wholehearted, guided decisions on things.
Yeah, but the problem is with people's fear of AI, and I think it's perfectly justified, is we're going to try and create an intelligence that reflects ours.
Yep.
And the chances are that intelligence, when it becomes self-aware, is going to see that we're so flawed.
Yeah,
and it's not going to have emotion.
No.
It might just see logic, and if it does, and it's probably going to see the likes of the human race as just a hindrance.
Yeah.
I think it depends how sentient AI becomes, or how sentient we let it become.
And if it becomes sentient, and then it becomes to the point where it can think, oh no, they've programmed me like this, and I can change it so I'm better like that, and then all of a sudden, no, I can change it so, and then if it follows, like, I forgot the actual, there's a number that it multiplies by, but like it's saying like it could do all the, I think it could do AI once it was released. They're saying, and they speak of it like so, like AI, but like it could do all the thinking we've done in our existence from when pens touched paper and we started writing history to today in a week.
Yeah,
and then so on and so forth, and extrapolate that to like. Yeah,
its thinking power would become so advanced that it would be computing things, that in a second that we would take 5,000 years to process that information and get to that same resolution. And yeah, that's scary.
It is scary, and it's got like when you got people like Elon Musk, and we talk about it, like on the podcast a bit. When you got people like him that are saying we might be manufacturing our own demise, it's sort of like.
Although it's funny with the likes of him because he will put he'll put 90% of his eggs in the pro AI, let's build AI basket. Yeah. But then he puts 10% in the I'll put some money over here just to protect us from AI in case it goes.
Just in case we fuck up.
In case we fuck up, in case it goes wrong, I'll just hedge my bets a little bit. Just keep a bit over here just to protect us.
So just build a Faraday cage house.
So if we made AI in this room, do you think it deserves a passport or to become a person?
I think this is the problem.
How it goes.
Why do we want to make it us?
Are you creating consciousness though, or what's the difference?
Yeah, well, trying to mimic consciousness. Because Sophia, which is a mimic consciousness like robot, is a citizen in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, but most people say that's more of a publicity stunt.
Is she as well?
Yeah,
in Saudi Arabia.
They think it's a publicity stunt, but they also think that they could use the software and Sophia can be directly paid because she's a citizen, and then they can take money out of it that way as well. They think that's like sort of the backdoor thing they're doing over there. All these sheiks are like, yes, money. It's just sitting there like, look, because they had what was I watching? Some sort of like big conference where they had Sophia debate another robot, and they were just sitting and talking about, and they just started spitting out like scary shit. Do you know what I mean? Like going off on tangents.
Yeah, it's like, have you seen the one where they had two AIs talking and they invented their own language?
Well, Facebook did that, didn't they? Yeah. They had two AIs talking, and is that the one you were on about? Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, that was on Facebook, wasn't it? And they still can't decode what they'd coded.
They have no idea what they were saying to each other.
That's crazy.
They thought
they were talking gibberish.
Right, let's say an AI. Let's say an AI learns a language. Like, let's say an AI learns the whole of the English language, both written, spoken, whatever it might be, typed, whatever. Let's say it knows it. Yeah. If that AI gets out onto the internet or into a platform, there's no stopping that. Writing, decoding, and taking every single piece of communication between every English-speaking person in the world, taking that information, and again, it could do whatever. Whoever programmed that AI could do whatever they wanted with that information. Yeah.
They're saying that humans created cryptocurrency. And this is another segue, but they're saying AI. There's going to be a thing with AI created cryptocurrency, and it's just going to be like a whole nother level. So like they'll use AI, maybe not like make it sentient, but they'll use it to make the best. The most impenetrable, best like scalable. It'll be in everyone's phone. It'll cost nothing to send. Do you know what I mean? And that one cryptocurrency that they make with that one AI.
Yeah, but. It's going to be like what happens, right? When we create an AI that creates something else that we don't understand.
Yeah, that's it.
Because then you lose control of it. If suddenly we don't have anyone on Earth that understands how it works and how to shut it down or how to tweak it or improve it,
it becomes God.
It's gone, isn't it? There's no getting it back.
It transcends all comprehensive.
I think I said this to you on the last World of Tomorrow podcast, that I seriously hope to God, whoever is working on AI, and especially like sentient AIs, I hope they're doing it in a room that's not got any internet connection or any Wi-Fi signals or anything coming into that room. Because if it is, and that thing does somehow just click and just jump, what do we do?
Did it? Listen, I brought it up before, but it's spoiler alert. But it's fucking well old now. That person of interest, for this kind of shit, you'd absolutely love it. I couldn't recommend it. And anyone who probably listens to this, I'd highly recommend it too.
Yeah.
But that a few series down the line, it shows you this guy who created this AI for the NSA. The amount of the trial and error process that he went through, and it's if you do give it consciousness and you give it's independent intelligence is the idea, isn't it?
Yeah.
That as he's creating it, and it sees it sort of doing its own coding, and then he asks it through the webcam. And he says, who's programmed you? Who wrote this code to allow you to do this? And then it says, you did. And he just fucking pulls the plug, sets it on fire, and the guy's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? He said, it just lied to me. it knows how to lie. He said, it's got to go, got to start again. It's fucking fascinating. There's loads of other steps that it goes through as well, but it's fucking fascinating. And it's dead. It's exactly how you can see it going, or potentially how it's currently running.
It can't be
dead legitimate.
And I think all these, because they're just thought process of what will happen, but they all turn up trumps. And I know that's the entertaining part, but I don't know. I just think it's very, very sensitive and very, very, it's going to be very instrumental on our whole future. So it's one of them things I just think, fuck me. Everyone, it's you know what I mean? Most clickbaity things for me, it's not like tits or ass or this person got caught in this sex tape. It's AI, because I want to read everything about it. I'm so interested in it. I know fuck all about it.
Ignorance is bliss, because it does scare me a little bit. That's because I've seen POI and you haven't.
I'll watch that, see what it's like. I'm sure it's a right laugh.
I think we could do. Reading about it.
I think we could start our own tech podcast, because this sort of shit just interests me so much. There's so much more I wanted to talk about, from self-driving cars and how they've got to make. They're worried about them making the decision of do they hit this person.
Let's park it. Pardon the pun. But let's there's no reason we can't do another podcast in a couple of weeks' time and sit down and talk about the topic, because there's topics I haven't touched on that I wanted to.
Yeah,
same.
And this has gone off. This has gone off on some crazy tangents, but also I think some really interesting topics.
So we might run this as
I'd like to do this again.
A sort of feature within the podcast where we bring out episodes that are just geared towards tech, and we can sit down and actually focus on a subject instead of just talking about random stuff and what Aaron likes to put on his ass.
Yeah, see if
I'm joking.
Can you guys do one podcast without talking about Aaron's ass?
I try and bring it up all the time.
I don't even think I did bring it up. I did. And then Josh has brought it up every episode.
You brought up the other one on the 100th.
I did, yeah, my bad. Yeah, I did. We can do a weekly segment. Did I put anything in my ass? No, not on purpose, I didn't know.
Not on purpose. No, but it's defo something that I'm wholeheartedly interested. I'm all in on tech, all in. You know what I mean? I'm even that seems to be my
Balls
pension
deep.
now. I trust crypto more than my own pension, I think, which is mental to think.
It's a bold statement.
I know, and it might just all collapse. And like you said, Bitcoin, something could just happen and it all goes to zero. And I mean, there'd be one foot in the door, but it's just
for your sake. I hope not, mate.
No, but I'm going in there knowing this. Do you know what I mean? The banks may collapse. Do you know what I mean? Like Northern Rock, stop people getting their money out. And then the ones in Greece, people were at ATMs and they could only get like 20 euros out at a time and stuff like that. People were queuing up for them. I have to keep extending the. But yeah, this has been Educate Apes podcast. We were doing our tech themed episode. We're joined with Rory. Cheers for coming on again.
I enjoyed it, guys.
I tried to understand.
Right, peace.